Low.
You think that's loud?
I feel like I can hear everything.
It's pretty wild. You'll have to. It's kind of weird getting used to initially, but it'll get better. Yeah, I think they're pretty good mics. Obviously.
I like them. I'm just a newbie.
Well, not after today.
Okay.
So you're telling me about your dad. What does your dad do? Remind me.
He sells sports memorabilia for fun, but it's not for fun because it actually funds his life.
When did he start?
So he was in college, I think, and him and his brother and my uncle purchased like a little shop in a mall, and they opened like a sports card and comic book store. So I actually have a bunch of comic books in my nightstand that he's just given me like over the years that he still has. But I remember before he sold all of his comic books, he had like a whole room full of them. And there were certain ones I like wasn't even allowed to touch. And there's ones that I still have now that he was like, don't take them out of the plastic. So I never have.
Your dad sounds like a pretty interesting dude.
Oh, he is insane.
I can't imagine how long it takes to make a collection.
But also like study and research how like each one is.
Why they're valuable.
Yeah.
And then what to look for inside of a place, or if somebody comes to you, and then how to negotiate and buy and know exactly what you're buying.
Exactly. Like he can tell you the stats of almost every player. Like he'll buy a pack of cards and he's like, this isn't worth anything. Or he's like, oh my gosh, I just found a $500 card. And I'm like, how do you know that without researching it? He's like, I just know.
Yeah, how does he know? I mean,
because he just like sits there and researches and like watches sports all day and keeps up with all the trends, and he'll go to like card conventions and stuff, and he's tried to explain it to me, but I'm not into sports like that, so I can't get excited about it the same way, but it works for him.
I'm not a big sports guy either, so I think it's weird to me being in like you around like fantasy football people and they're like watching the game and you're like, oh yeah, and he went to Alabama State University and he does this and ran this in the combine. I'm like,
how do you know that?
Yeah. what value does that bring you to I guess right now you can sound like you know what you're talking about, but why? Unless you're like trading cards, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, he really did the thing that was like make money off of what you love. So.
And then on the side, he just happens to be a software engineer.
Oh, yeah. He went to school for computer science and has a whole degree and just decided that that's his side hobby.
That's the goal. I mean, that's the dream.
That's true.
If you could have that same opportunity, what would be the thing that you love that you could do for the rest of your life?
Honestly, I don't even know. I feel like I've just gone to school and worked for 5 years in a row that I haven't gotten to experience a lot of things that I've like loved to do.
Communicate?
I'm pretty shy, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
And you work as a server.
I was just explaining this to someone the other day. So when I'm behind the bar, you know how I work in like a rectangle bar, like there's sides everywhere around me, and then people will sit facing me. Like I feel safe in the bar. Like I am a different person in the bar than I am once I leave the bar. So if you stick me on the floor and I'm like walking between tables, I get so shy. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm unsafe out here. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know the table numbers. But if you stick me behind the bar, I'm like in my own little bubble and I'm only talking to the people that are sitting with me. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
I think I think you explained it pretty well. It's just it's a safety net, right?
It's a safety net.
It's a box that you feel safe in. I mean, it's a simple. I mean, you did a good job. I mean, you've also been doing it for a while now. No,
I would say like I've been bartending for 4 or 5 years.
What kind of different settings of bartending have you done?
So I started bartending at Northgate, which is like the local bar street here. And I got hired to work at Northgate from a customer at Hooters. So I started serving at Hooters.
Okay.
First serving job I've ever had. But I've been in the food industry since I was like 15. I was a host, and then I worked at Jimmy John's and then like multiple places. But one of my customers was like, hey, I need another bartender. Do you want to work for me? And I was like, I've never bartended. That sounds like a terrible idea. Like, I won't be good for you. He was like, it's super easy. So I went and started there, and it was super easy. Northgate's mostly just like build drinks, but the hours were awful. Like, I was going to sleep at 4 or 5 in the morning, and I'm dealing with college students that are my age. So honestly, a lot of them can be very mean, or they like don't tip, or they're not actually 21. So that was just a whole mess working there. So I just decided it wasn't for me. And then I got moved up behind the bar at Hooters, which was something you like had to earn. So I've always valued like being a bartender, because in the restaurant industry, being the bartender is like the highest position you can get. I mean, besides a GM, but like host, server, bartender. And so that's how it's kind of tricky at Twin, because I feel like I didn't earn it. Like, none of the girls that bartend earned it except for like 3 girls, because when it opened, we were like immediately put behind the bar because we said we wanted to be behind the bar. But yeah.
If you live in the Rio Grande Valley area and you have a roof over your head, then you know how expensive it can get to get quality furniture at a decent price. So, go and visit Max Fine Furniture, and they're going to offer you 20% off so long as you go to their Facebook page and type out #traditions. And they're going to treat you to a beautiful experience where they'll get to tour you around and show you all their offerings and get you exactly what you need if they don't have it in stock. They have the best customer service in the furniture industry. You have to go visit Max Fine Furniture in Weslaco for the best products and services. Enjoy. Gentlemen, if you are looking for the cleanest and most professional barber studio in your area, you need to look at goldstarbarberstudio.com. These guys offer the best cuts I have ever had, from fades to having my beard work done. These guys also offer designs if you like designs. I have absolutely enjoyed my experience with Gold Star Barber Studio. Every man needs a good barber. And ladies, they offer services for women as well. I get my eyebrows done there with Harley. You guys have to check out goldstarbarberstudio.com. Find them on Instagram at goldstarbarberstudio and check them out. Get yourself cleaned. Get yourself a good, consistent cut. Take care of yourself. You deserve it.
Man, that sounds like you had experience. Like, you earned it, right? It was just maybe not inside of that specific area, but
Yeah.
you came in with some background.
Yeah, I had background, but I still feel like I didn't get the chance to prove to them that I could be behind the bar. So
I feel like your experience proved it already.
I guess, but there's some girls behind the bar that I work with that's their first bartending job too. And they picked up pretty quickly too, so.
I thought it was pretty complicated. Like, you can making drinks at home is fun, and I move at my own pace. Mm-hmm. But at Northgate, you're hauling ass.
Mm-hmm, like sweating.
And then dealing with drunk college students. That sounds kind of hard.
It's actually the worst thing. It's not the worst thing ever. But so one question I get asked a lot at Twin and Hooters. So I get it. It has a reputation for being a restaurant. And I get asked a lot, like, oh, like, how many times do you get harassed working here? Like, is it bad? And I'm like, I got harassed more working at Northgate with college students than I've ever been in the 4 years that I worked at Hooters or Twin Peaks.
Wow.
Ever. Yeah. Like, people at Northgate will, like, grab you or throw drinks on you or start fighting in front of you or throw up on the bar in front of you. It's just...
On the bar?
Oh, I've seen it happen literally right in front of me, like, 10 times minimum.
Disgusting.
And then you just have to say, hey, like, can you get him out of here? Like, you have to scream it. Yeah.
Because it's so... Which one did you work at?
So I worked at a bar called 115. And And then they closed and moved into a new property and remodeled a bar over there and then reopened. And it's like super nice now. They completely remodeled it. But that is every single bar on Northgate.
Yeah.
Like every single one.
That's sad. It's just, I mean, it's just not a fun scene. I've never really been a Northgate guy.
You're not missing anything.
It just, I think I've gone, and when I was an undergrad, maybe half a dozen times, maybe. And it was always just so packed and so loud. Mm-hmm. And when I was there within the last 6 months, and we were trying to get in line to go to the backyard to go upstairs. I've never been upstairs. And
I love the backyard.
Never been upstairs. I've always been in the back and hang out. But even then, I sit down and I watch everybody because everyone's just so fucking drunk.
Yeah.
Might as well just watch. And then while we're standing in line, these people just started like shoving themselves into the line. And then we just what's going on? Some girl started messing with one of my friend's caps and tossing it and moving. I was like, leave us alone. What are y'all doing? It's weird.
You see some stuff if you pay attention on Northgate. I feel like I've seen it all. It's crazy down there.
Do you ever go back now?
So I'm really good friends with my boss still from 115. So I actually bartended there for him 3 weeks ago because he was short a bartender and I was free. So, and then when you do work on Northgate, all the bartenders just kind of know each other because you're all leaving at 4 and 5 a.m. at the same time. And bartenders respect other bartenders because we get the struggle. So I'm still friends with a few of the bartenders that work there that there's a few that still work there when I worked there 2 years ago. So it's kind of nice to see them, but at the same time, I'm like, how are you still doing this? How do you like going to sleep at 4 and 5 a.m.? I don't know.
It just doesn't seem attractive at all. I mean, is the money there to supply that? That's what I've always heard.
It is there. But it's an addictive lifestyle. There's a lot of people that work at Northgate that will literally spend their money on partying when they have the night off. Or they go to sleep and waste their day every single day because they're going to sleep every night at 5 or 6 a.m. And I was actually in a relationship with a guy who, while I was working at Twin, I met him at 115. So he was my bar back when we started dating. And when I went to Twin Peaks, he went to a different bar on Northgate. And even just that was a problem we had in our relationship because I was going to bed and waking up early and he was going to bed super late and then waking up super late. And it's a lifestyle you have to adapt to and be okay with living. And I was not okay with going to sleep that late and just being yelled at and moved super quick and the rules are crazy and Twin Peaks is a way more calm environment.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
It's significantly.
Yeah.
Do you see a difference in tips from Northgate to Twin Peaks or Hooters?
Yeah. So when I worked at Hooters, I don't want to say it's a dying company, but it's kind of a dying company.
A little bit.
So when I started working there, it was my first serving job. So $100 a shift. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm making $100 a day. This is crazy. But $100 a shift at Hooters was very good money. And so if you think about it, I was working 5 to 6 shifts a week at Hooters, making $500 to $600 a week. And then I was also working at Northgate to make my bills. So I was working 2 jobs and it was exhausting. Yeah. And then I moved to Twin Peaks and started making triple that. I didn't need a second job anymore to pay my bills. So
yeah, there's a pretty significant difference in the different lifestyles. When you have college students versus a bunch of, I don't feel like I always see construction guys that are always people that are more well-to-do, I suppose.
Yeah, but if you think about it, when you go to Northgate, you're buying a drink or two. So it's a $10 tab, which is a $1 or $2 tip. And then there's people that will come into Twin and buy food and buy drinks for their friends and they'll sit there and enjoy their time. So they'll rack up a tab and tip a certain percentage.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
The food at Twin, is
I love our food.
outstanding.
Thank you. I love our food.
It's not something that you would like. I never really thought of Hooters as like having like spectacular food. Like it was okay. It was good food.
It's okay.
It's all right. Twin Peaks does such a good job
Everything.
with all of it. The brisket, the cheese, I mean, the chicken wrap thing. Oh my God.
And everything's from scratch. Like even our dressing on our salad, the cooks make in the morning.
What time does everybody show up?
My manager shows up every morning at 4 a.m. And then I think the cooks get there around 7 or 8, and then we open at 11.
Damn, they're early.
Yeah, they prep like everything super early.
And are those the same cooks that stay the day, or are those like you have a prep cook
No.
and then 2 different shifts?
So they'll usually send people home, like they'll cut people after the lunch rush. So if you go in at 4 o'clock, like in the middle of the day, that's our slowest time. It's between like 3:30 and 4:30 is like our dead hour.
Okay.
And there's usually only like 1 or 2 cooks in the kitchen at that point. But if it's during a dinner rush, there's like 1 person a station. So there's 1 person for fry, 1 person for wings, 1 person for the pizza oven, and then the salad line. Damn. Yeah, there's probably like 10 people in the kitchen on like a busy Friday or Saturday night.
I want to go back there and see the madness that's going on.
Oh, no, they're organized. Like, the madness is the girls in the back. Like, by the expo line where you get the food or you're making the drinks or you're grabbing utensils, that's where it gets crazy. Like, the kitchen is so much more organized than us. It's ridiculous.
That's kind of cool to know.
Yeah, I guess. It gets pretty messy down there. Like, fries will be flying. I'm not going to lie.
Is that from the girls?
Yeah, just moving so quickly. Like, if it's busy, we'll be, like, running back and forth back there. Like, I've run into people all the time back there.
I want to see what it looks like back there. Because, I mean, how much space is there between, like, that wall that we see? You have 2 entrances. How much space do you have between that wall and the next space?
So, right behind that wall, I wish I had, like, a piece of paper I could draw you a diagram. Right behind that wall that you see is going to be, like, the drink station and the sink for us to wash our hands, and then, like, the to-go station. And then there's, like, a hallway we pass back and forth through with, like, carpet so we don't trip and stuff. I would say there's, like, 4 or 5 feet, like, between.
Okay.
So, like, 2 girls can comfortably walk past each other. But there's more than 2 girls. I would say on a Friday or Saturday night, they have 12 to 14 girls on the floor at a time. And then there's the bartenders, and then there's the cooks, and then there's the bussers that are also walking back there. So it just gets crazy.
That's one hell of an operation.
Yeah, but if you think about it, that's like how every single restaurant is when they're busy. Like, we have a very, very nice kitchen for a restaurant.
Is that because that's what Twin Peaks kind of just, it's like that? Is that the standard? No?
So before when they purchased the building that we moved into, it was a barbecue buffet. So the building was already built and we just remodeled everything. So it's actually a very small kitchen for most Twin Peaks, but it's very organized. But I also have a very good manager. Like, I'll give it to him. He's an OCD freak and I love him, but like everything is very, very organized.
Is that JP or is that?
No, Clint is our GM. And then JP's the kitchen manager.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we have a bar manager too.
Damn.
And then we have like the girls manager, which is Jen. So she's kind of responsible she's like our mom. Like, she makes the girls' schedule and makes sure that we're like okay mentally. Like, you can talk to her about anything.
Sweet, man, you kind of need that in that environment.
Yeah, I guess. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of people are surprised when I tell them there's less drama, like, working with all girls than there was in the restaurants I worked with boys and girls.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Why?
I really don't know how to explain it. I think it's because we're, like, all girls that are the same age. So when we do piss each other off or we are mean to each other, we get over it super quickly because it's just the environment. Like, we're moving quick. Like, a customer made us mad. But we're also girls, so we're easy to vent to. So again, like, if a customer upsets you or you're, like, going through a breakup, like, we can help calm you down because we're girls. Like, we know exactly what you're going through. And then a guy's just going to be like, what are you talking about? Like, stop talking. And that's how our manager is. Like, he'll make fun of us when we're sitting there, like, talking about boy problems or something. He's just like, y'all are stupid.
I mean, he's not entirely wrong at some degree. I feel like boys are dumb, and so if you're talking about the dumb things that boys are doing, then, I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah, but it's just because we're, like, all the same age. Like, we all have almost all the same problems. So we just get along most of the time.
That is nice.
Yeah.
So when you were working both jobs, what did your schedule look like when you were both at Hooters and at Northgate?
So I actually remember it. I worked Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday mornings at Hooters. And then I worked Tuesday and Thursday nights at Northgate. So my days off were Monday and Wednesday. And I was still making less than what I just make at Twin Peaks, working both of those jobs. But it was also during COVID, so all my classes were online, and I felt like I had all the time in the world. Like, I could not have that schedule now, because all my classes are in person again. So I have places I have to be.
Okay, as when you were... How did you guys adapt during... I mean, could that have been the... Like, yeah, you're making triple now versus when you were making them, but if it was during COVID...
Honestly, I think I lucked the heck out with COVID.
Why?
So I feel like that's where everything kind of started with me. So that was exactly like at 1 year I had been working at Hooters. COVID happened. And so I walked in for my shift that day and he was like, well, we're closing. Like, everything's closing. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And he was like, they just closed everything, but we're allowed to do to-goes. Like, do you want to be one of the girls that's going to do to-goes? We have 4 girls that we're picking to do to-goes. And I was like, I would love to do to-goes. Like, I need a job. But I've also been one of those people that always keeps myself busy with work. Like, I love working. So I don't know what I would have done if he didn't pick me for to-goes. And so once I started doing to-goes, I worked Monday through Friday. Like, I would literally just sit in a booth and walk out food to people's cars. And it got so boring that Hooters was like, hey, like, y'all should start posting on social media and stuff so people know that we're open for to-goes. And that's when I started TikTok. And I started it as a little joke, and then it just kind of took off from there. And so that's why I think I lucked out with COVID, because a lot of things that I've had happen in my life are definitely because of that, like, stage in my life.
Like, what else? So I definitely want to continue to learn more about the TikTok fame that you have. I want to call it fame because it's kind of insane. Because having the podcast, it's like you want to post, right? And so that's where you get followers and likes and views and all these things. But it's still, and there's people that I'm just like, is that really how you do it? But I think that's really how you do it.
That's really how you do it.
It's that simple.
People like to watch people that they can kind of like live through. So the more you post, the more familiar you are to them. And then they're like, oh, like, they're my friend. So there's certain people that I follow on social media and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with you. But it's because they allow you to see parts of their normal life that you also go through. And I think that's why TikTok is such a big deal, because everybody can relate to a certain video on TikTok. So it's just one of those social media platforms that connected like everybody during COVID.
Did you find that there was a method to your madness, like a certain time to post, a certain type of post? What were those?
Everything. So I remember literally making my first video, and it was this trend, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but I just like remade a trend. And I remember telling my roommate at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, I got 5,000 likes. That's crazy. I was like, I'll make another one tomorrow. And then I was posting once a day. And then once I got to 10,000 followers, I was like, wow, this is like so much fun. This is crazy. And I had nothing else to do. And so I learned that consistency with social media is key. So I would literally post 2 videos a day, like 7 days a week, which everyone is like, oh, social media is so easy. Like, it's so easy to do that or talk to your phone. But you like have to plan a lot of stuff out. Like it's a lot harder than people think it is. It takes a lot more time, like thinking, reading comments, like researching trends. Like I was probably on TikTok like 4 hours a day just watching videos so I could get ideas of what to do.
Damn.
Yeah, when I first started. And like I would pre-film videos because I only worked 5 days a week, but I would pre-film so I would like have stuff to post in case I couldn't think of something or like on my days off. But that's also how I gained a bunch of followers because again, I got lucky. Like during COVID when a lot of people got laid off or like weren't working, I feel like they were going to my TikToks and they were like, oh, like, let's watch this girl work because I miss working. Or they're like, why is she working and I'm not? Like, it was just a curiosity thing. And they were like, oh, I like this girl. And then once everything kind of reopened, I feel like I became the one of the girls on TikTok that people my age or people that were also servers were like, oh, I can relate to her videos because I serve too. Like, I'm a college student. I'm a server. Like, I know exactly what she's talking about. So I made my TikTok channel like a niche. So it's just serving videos. I really like don't make any videos at home or of my personal life. Yeah. It's just like relatable videos to people that are in the service industry, I guess.
Which is a shit ton of people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I see your videos, like you're doing like your makeup like before, or you do like what I came out with today, right? Like how much did I make today? And then like you have one dude on there, an older gentleman.
Daryl.
Who?
Daryl.
How did you and Daryl meet?
Everyone asks me this. So it's actually a funny story because so I worked at Hooters and this guy came and sat in my section and it was Daryl. And he like, when I met him, he had just had a stroke and I didn't know this. So he like comes in on a walker, like stereotypical old person. You're like, who is this guy? So he sits in my section and he's super quiet, like does not talk. And he tips me like $5. But he's super sweet. So I like don't think anything of it. And then he keeps coming back and requesting to sit with me. And this is when like we had just reopened. So a lot of the times he was like the only person in there sometimes. And we just became best friends. He has the personality of like a 20-year-old. Like, he knows all the gossip. He knows all the life advice. And what's actually so annoying is I can tell him something and he'll tell me exactly how it's going to end. And I'm like, well, I'm still going to do it. And he's like, okay. And then exactly what he says is going to happen. And I'm like, dang it.
So he's a wise 20-year-old.
He's so wise. But, like, he can talk exactly like us. And he knows all the tea. So he's pretty funny. And then there was just one day I was like, hey, will you make this TikTok with me? Like, I'm bored. And he was like, what's TikTok? And I was like, oh, it's just this like video sharing app. So the first video I made with him, I made him try things out of a straw, but he didn't know what they were. Okay. And he had to guess what they were.
It's so wholesome and so fun, like so just playful.
Yeah.
I like it. Either way, continue.
I feel like people love Daryl more than they love me. Like, they come to my channel to watch Daryl, and he knows it, too. But,
he's the real star. He just doesn't happen to have TikTok yet.
No, that's what I'm getting to. He has a freaking TikTok. And I wasn't even the one that downloaded it on his phone. So when Daryl first started doing TikToks with me, like, he couldn't even watch the videos. He just trusted me. Like, he didn't even know what was going on. He just went with it.
All right.
And so one of my coworkers at Hooters was like, Daryl, download it. Like, you can watch the videos. They're so funny. Well, this old man became addicted to TikTok and was like staying up till 2 a.m. in the morning watching TikToks, got his own TikTok. And then we convinced him to start, like, I would make videos for him and post them on his account. And then, like, he just recently started, like, vlogging his days or making his own videos.
Oh, my God.
And, yeah, he has, like, 13,000 followers. And I'm like, I'm so proud of you. And people will come up in the store and they're like, you're Daryl. Like, it's actually happened at work. They'll come up to Daryl. Like, I will be talking to Daryl. And they're like, oh, my God, you're Daryl. Like, I watch you on TikTok. And I'm like, hey.
Hi.
It's my account, but like it's cool. And they're just like, yeah. So
Sure.
Daryl, like, blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay.
He's the real star. We all know.
Yeah, he is. I'll give it to him.
I want to meet Daryl.
You've never met him?
Mm-mm.
He's in there like almost every single time I work.
I've never seen him.
Then you're gonna have to tell me the next time you come in, because he like loves to talk to people, like anybody.
I wanted to come on the podcast.
He would definitely come on the podcast, but like he'll give you a run for his money.
I'm sure that there's an interesting guy behind there. And I think that's what I'm like most interested in this thing. It's like I get to learn a little bit about someone in my community, but then also other people. And then like, but a little bit more in depth, because we only get to see, if we follow your TikTok, we only get to see a small sliver of who you are, right?
Yeah.
But you're a more complex individual than just a server. It's like, what else is going on, right? And so I would like to meet Daryl and see what's going on inside his brain and his TikTok.
Oh my gosh, I don't know half the stuff that goes on in his head either. But like he is so interesting to talk to. Like I'm telling you, he knows everything. Best life advice. Daryl.
Okay.
Everything.
So your first video with him was you trying the straw stuff. Mm-hmm. Was it like an instant hit kind of thing?
It was. So it was this trend on TikTok. That's what I did. Like I would try to just like keep up with the trends, because that's how the algorithm works. Like you would get the most likes and the most views based on trends that were already trending. So we did this one where you put like 4 different drinks in a shoebox and then flip it so they can't see like what they're drinking. And I gave him like lemonade, pickle juice, and then orange juice, and then the last one was vodka. And like you could see it on his face, like he was like, this is vodka. And I remember it got like 70,000 likes, and he was like, wow, that's crazy. Like, let's do another one. And I was like, okay.
That must have helped, having somebody kind of like as a partner to continue the thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, definitely.
That's like massive. Like it's somebody that's like almost guaranteed content, but then it's somebody to like share in the success.
Yeah. And he loves it. Like he'll respond to everybody on the comments and everything. Yeah.
Is he more active than you?
I think he is now. I feel like I've just gotten really busy with school and work. Twin Peaks is a lot busier than Hooters was, so I can't like film as much as I used to. But I also I've done it for so long. I think this is like my 3rd or 4th year on TikTok. I'm just kind of like, I don't know how much longer I can do this.
Is it stressful to have to feel like, do you feel like you have to keep up with trends like constantly?
Yeah, so the way the algorithm works, if you literally go like 3 days without a video, your views drop significantly. Like TikTok will stop like trending your profile.
Damn.
And then if you go a week without a video, they will literally, I don't want to say shadow ban, but your views are almost like non-existent.
Have you seen that? Have you done that?
Yes. I would say I'm kind of going through that right now. But it's just because, I don't know, I'm like too busy to sit there and really watch TikTok and trends and stuff like I used to. So it's just different. Or it's like a lot harder to film, because when me and Daryl would film at Hooters, we were the only ones in there, because it's a lot slower over there than it is at Twin. Like the second we open at Twin, there's people like at tables and at the bar, and it's kind of hard when there's people, because you don't want to like film random customers or like have them ask you a bunch of questions about what you're doing, because we film like stupid videos, like stupid funny videos, and they're just like, what's going on?
You could get them involved, but at the same time, like a lot of people are like, I want my drink. What are you doing?
Yeah, but also a lot of people are like, I don't want to be in your video. And I'm like, okay.
Like, that's weird to me. It's like, why not, you know? I guess. Different people, different things.
That's true.
So is TikTok for you is this it? Is it gonna die?
Honestly, I've had a lot of people say that, but I think the whole reason my account took off in the first place is because it's a niche account. Like, I'm a server, people can relate to it. And I've also tried kind of, I don't want to say hard, but I have purposely kept my personal life out of my TikToks because people can get kind of crazy with social media. Like, I've had a few of my accounts hacked. I've had people like you can Google me and there's biographies about me and they like know stuff about me. I'm like, how do you know that? Like, I've never said that on social media before. And I'm not even like I wouldn't even say I'm a huge creator. Like, I have a very good following, but there's people like way, way, way bigger than me. So I know it gets scary for them. Like, I've had my phone hacked. Like, someone has texted my friends pretending to be me. Like, they hacked into my phone, got my, like, closest friends' phone numbers and texted them, like, things about me. Like, I've had scary stuff happen.
That's pretty trippy.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because TikTok is related to the Chinese stuff? I don't really know much about it, but do you think, like, because that ended up being your method to contact people,
I don't know.
it just happened to be happenstance? People just finding your stuff and trying to stalk you?
Yeah. But I think that can happen with any creator. Like, there was actually one of the girls that I follow who's close to my age. She lives in Austin now. She, like, just moved there. But she made a video one day, and it, like, broke my heart because I kind of related to it, but not on the same way. Just, like, just people, like, coming into your personal life because they feel like they can. I don't know. But she had someone hack into her phone, and which I had someone hack into my phone too. But she had someone hack into her phone and, like, take inappropriate pictures, like, out of her camera roll and blackmail her with them. And it got, like, very serious. Yeah, so she made, like, a few videos on that, and, like, I felt so bad for her because I was like, oh my gosh, like, I've had my accounts hacked and, like, taken from me, but, like, nothing like that. Like, that would scare the heck out of me. Anxiety on a whole new level.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It makes me, like, a little sad for her.
Yeah.
A lot sad.
Oh, she's fine now. That happened, like, a year ago, but, like, at the same time.
Still, like, to be in the middle of that and you're just posting videos, right?
Yeah.
You're just having a good time.
You're just being you. Yeah.
And people are out there just, I don't know if I'm vindictive. I don't know if it's because of success, but it's sad. There's no point.
It can be scary. Like, I don't know.
Were there times that you had been scared? I mean, obviously the phone hacking's a little bit.
Yeah, it got annoying. Like, I blew up. I want to say I blew up pretty quick. And I'm pretty, like, steady now, but it's because I just don't post as much as I used to. But within, like, 2 years, I almost had 1 million followers. Like, I think at, like, a year and a half.
What?
You didn't know that?
I knew you had, like, 1 million plus followers at this point, don't you? No? More?
I'm at 990,000. So I haven't passed it yet.
Okay.
But I've been, like, stuck at that number because I just, like, don't post as much as I used to. But, like, it got scary. Like, people would send me random stuff on Instagram, or I would get notifications that they were, like, hacking into my email or my social media accounts, or they were hacking into my phone number and pretending to be me and, like, taking contacts. And there was, like, people that would follow, like, my boyfriend at the time, and it just got, like, it brings anxiety to a whole new level. Like, I'm very anxious because of social media. Like, social media has made me more anxious about certain things, which I want to say is, like, it sucks.
Yeah.
But I also have a huge platform that I'm super thankful for. So, like, there has to be some negative stuff that come with such a positive thing. I don't know.
I feel like I never really hear about that part of it. It's like it made my life anxious, right? Having to walk around with anxiety because of these things that you're just existing for.
Yeah, but, like, imagine how much worse it would be if my account was, like, a personal account. That's why I don't make, like, personal videos on my account. It's just at work. So,
it makes me think about this, a little bit.
Yeah, it can be crazy for other people.
imagine the people that do have those like massive followings.
Exactly.
I mean, you have to have a team of people helping out along the way, but even then, if they're using computers and they're using phones, they're still able to hack into things and figure stuff out. It's got to be scary.
Yeah, it can be stressful. Like, there was definitely a time when like, everything on my phone is, like, on total lockdown mode now because they offer so many, like, two-factor authentication, like, all of that stuff. But I would, like, wake up and be so anxious that I would be, like, logged out of my Instagram or something, or that I would, like, wake up to a text message I didn't want to see, or just, like, random stuff. And then there's also people that can bully you. Like, you get stupid comments. I can definitely say I've never really had a problem with that because I've never been afraid of where I've worked. That's most of the comments I get are just kind of like, you don't respect yourself. And I'm like, well, I respect myself to work somewhere that's going to provide me with the most money so that I can pay my rent and tuition. And I also wear less to the pool. Yeah. Well, actually, I've said that. I'm like, keep commenting, please. Like, you're making me some money.
Do you get paid to post?
Mm-hmm. So it's based off of engagement. But I could definitely be making a lot more if I did, like, brand deals and stuff. But I never wanted my page to be like that. I just wanted my page to be, like, something people could relate to. So I've never done brand, like, opportunities or anything.
Would you ever? Like, if you were confronted with, like, what brand do you love?
Honestly, if any makeup brand would, like, do something, I could probably do that because I do, like, the makeup routine before work.
That's a good point.
But it would have to be something I could, like, incorporate into my videos. Like, I wouldn't want my viewers to think they're just watching an ad on my, like, TikTok or something.
You're existing and happen to be using a product.
Yeah. Like, I feel like I like my account because you're watching me just be, like, a girl that's working. Like, 90% of us do. I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's literally most people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get paid? Like, what is I don't know if you want to talk about it, if you're comfortable talking about it, like, what is, like, you said over engagement, but is it, like, likes and comments and then how do you get paid?
So, when you get to 10,000 likes, not 10,000 likes, 10,000 followers on TikTok, you can apply for something called the Creator Fund. And it's, like, you'll get accepted. Like, you just have to reach their guidelines, which is 10,000 followers. You have to get, like, 10,000 likes a month minimum. And then, like, you can get in the Creator Fund and they'll pay you, like, based off of your videos. So the more views, the more your videos blow up, the more you get paid, like, each day. So you can literally range from, like, 20 cents a day to, I think I've made, like, 150 a day from a video. But it's not crazy.
It's not crazy money.
But it's, like, extra money. So, you know.
I mean, you're to do almost nothing.
Something I was already doing before I was getting paid. Yeah. So the Creator Fund actually got implemented a year after I, like, had already made my account. Yeah.
That's not fair. You should. Hey, like, where's my stuff at? Like, I have money that's been sitting down on the table there.
I remember telling my mom, I was like, Mom, this is so cool. Like, they're paying me now. She was like, wow.
How do your parents feel about it?
Well, of course, when I started working at Hooters, my mom was like, oh, like, do you really want to work there? Like, that's any mom. And then I guess she just figured out that I really liked working there. Like, I didn't complain. I didn't ask her for help for anything. And then I don't even remember how she figured out I had TikTok. I just don't even remember asking her. But she likes all my videos. Like, she'll randomly text me now and she's like, the one you posted today was funny. Like, she likes them. And she loves Daryl. She's met Daryl, like, multiple times.
Good. Mm-hmm. That makes me happy.
Yeah.
And your dad?
He hasn't met Daryl, but he, like, loves my TikToks. Yeah.
As someone who's, like, a kind of an entrepreneur, your dad, you know,
Mm-hmm.
doing the card stuff, I feel like go and get it, you know, a little bit.
Yeah. But he's also one of those conspiracy theorists that's like, TikTok knows everything you're doing. Like, you should stop. But, like, they're funny. Like, he's mixed about it.
I think I watch videos and stuff about it. I really don't know, but like, do you watch Joe Rogan or no? Like,
I have a few times.
so one of, like, he was talking with somebody where he read the agreements, and he was like, if you download it on their phone, then they have access to absolutely everything on your phone. I mean, pictures, videos, phone numbers, your search history, when you use it, your camera, everything on your phone.
Yeah.
And that to me is a little bit weird. I mean, I just deleted it mainly because I didn't have enough space on my phone. I was at 30, like it was taking up 30 gigs of memory on my phone.
Really?
But I was like, why? I'm not downloading anything.
Yeah.
I'm looking at videos. I save stuff and I like stuff, but I don't post anything. Why is there 30 gigs just being consumed by this app? And where's it coming from?
Never thought about that. But what is crazy is like I'll Google something and then it'll show up on my For You page. But I also think, like, don't get me wrong, they could totally be spying on me. But the whole app is like based off finding things that is like best for you or that's relatable for you to keep you on the app.
Yeah.
So when they do have access to like your search bar, like I just looked up vitamins. I was like, what are the best dietary vitamins or like probiotics? Like how does yogurt affect your stomach? I like nutritious stuff. Like I just think it's interesting.
Yeah.
And so like my For You page is filled with like gut videos, like gut health, and I was
cool.
like, TikTok saw me Google that. Like,
Y'all know.
yeah,
I kind of like it for that reason. Like I think people get mad like, oh, they feed you a lot of dumb stuff. And I think if you click dumb stuff, they're going to feed you dumb stuff.
Yeah.
But if I like science videos and math videos and anatomy or nutrition stuff, then that's what it's going to feed me.
yeah. Everybody's For You page is like altered to them.
What is on your For You page outside of your vitamins?
I was gonna say right now it's gut videos. I don't know. Let's see.
Do you work out a lot?
I try to like 5 days a week, but I don't do weights or anything. Like I love to run. So I run like 3 miles a day.
Damn. That's a lot of running.
So a lot of my feed right now is like workout clothes, Chick-fil-A, or like vacation because spring break's coming up. So they probably saw me like Googling stuff for it.
Where are you going for vacay?
Well, sadly, I was going to go to Fort Lauderdale with my friends, and I found out that I owe a bunch of money in taxes. So I was like, it'd be smarter for me not to go. So I'm not going anymore.
Nice. Taxes are the worst.
I know. I'm very sad.
It makes me really upset.
Yeah.
I have been putting off doing my taxes now for some time, and I will put an extension because I really don't want to have to pay anything.
Oh, I did them this morning. I was like, great. And that was with a $2,000 tax deduction because I pay my own tuition. I still owe like a bunch of money. Yeah.
I feel like that's not okay. I feel like that shouldn't be the case. Is it because of tip outs? Is it because...
Yeah, so they like don't really tax our money. Like everything we make is off of tips. So they don't tax our tips when they give them to us like the next day on a card.
Okay.
And you can set it up to do that, and I just didn't think about it. And
Hindsight's 20/20.
yeah. And also, so I make money off of TikTok. So it's like self-employment. So I always owe for TikTok too. So I owed for Twin Peaks and TikTok this year. And I was like, my heart hurts. Like,
That does hurt a little bit.
I know. But at the same time, like, I can just work during spring break and save up money instead of just going to the beach for 4 days. So
It's probably a better use of time, a little bit more relaxing. I feel like
Yeah.
even though the beach can be relaxing when you go on vacation, even when you get back, you still need some time to like settle back in, kind of relax, figure stuff out, create
Yeah.
a pace, and then go back to work. And I don't think there's not that much time
yeah,
allowed usually.
I think I'll just go to the river for a day or something.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Go with some
I
friends.
can drive there.
Guadalupe.
Yeah, probably.
I've never floated the river.
Really? It's freezing. It's always cold.
That doesn't sound enjoyable.
You have to get the tubes with the mesh bottom.
Okay.
So nothing can like touch you. But you feel safe with a tube with a mesh bottom.
but I'm still cold.
No, you get used to it. It's like literally like 2 inches of water touching you. And then you just like sit in your tube and you're fine. You drink a drink or you like pack a snack and just tie yourself to your friends and then y'all just float down the river.
How long of a float time is it?
I think it's like 30 minutes.
Is that it?
I mean, you can like get back on a bus and then do it again if you want to.
I thought it was like hours long.
Well, I guess it depends on the river you go to.
Fair.
But there's this like spot you can go to in San Marcos and you just get at the beginning and then you go to the end. That's it.
Is that, I mean, you just do that repetitively over and over, or you do it once?
Honestly, so a lot of people will like stop at like certain off points and wait and just like chill there. So I would say sometimes like an hour long, but like after being like in a tube on the water in an hour, like that's enough for you. Like you're ready to go. Like you had fun and now you want to go home.
I feel like an hour sounds great.
Yeah.
Or did you grow up on the water? Near water? Because you're from San Antonio, no? Mm-hmm. So no, not really. But did you like visit the water?
I feel like I was raised to be really appreciative of nature. So my grandparents owned like a cabin in the woods in Tennessee. So we would go and stay there every single summer and it's beautiful. And we would hike all the time. Like I was on a hiking trail when I was like a baby. Like they would take me with them. And then I just
awesome.
grew up doing that every summer. Yeah.
I love that.
And then my uncle has a beach house in Port A. So we were always on the beach for like a minute or two. Like during summer, we would always go down there for like July. And I don't know, I got the best of both worlds. And then my dad's side of the family has a lake house. So we would go to the lake. So
You got to see all of it.
all of it. I had all of it. Like I got very lucky.
And out of all three, which is your favorite?
Tennessee. It's just beautiful up there. But I also think I value it more because it's like a process to get there. Like when I was in San Antonio, Port A was like an hour and 50 minutes away. Like I could just randomly decide I wanted to go there one day and go there. So maybe I just took advantage of it. But Tennessee's like special because that's where the whole family went. Like that was the family vacation.
Is that where you guys still vacay?
Actually, they sold the cabin like 2 or 3 years ago.
Sad.
Yeah, and I think last year was the last year everybody decided to go at the same time because a lot of the people in my family like have babies now and my grandparents are kind of getting too old to hike. And I missed it because I had freaking summer school. Like I missed the last year. So that kind of sucked.
That really sucks.
Yeah, but it's a place like I would take my own kids. So I know I'll be back.
I loved being in Tennessee. I got my master's in Tennessee.
Really?
It was during COVID, so I spent most of my time here. But I would go visit Tennessee, and it was one of the most gorgeous drives. And Memphis was beautiful. Johnson City is where my university sits, and so just being able to hike around that area was probably some of those beautiful hiking I've ever done. Mm-hmm. And it was after they had like a huge snowstorm. And so I was driving, lakes were frozen. There was like water coming down the mountain that had turned into ice. And so I have these really cool pictures with just like this full sided of mountain, like with just huge icicles coming down. And it was gorgeous.
Wait, what college was it?
University of East Tennessee State University.
Okay. Yeah, there's like a few over there I know that are just beautiful.
The rec center of this one like sits on a lake. And you just like go outside and you just go on a canoe or you can like paddleboard or a lot of the rec center items were like, we're going camping for 4 days in the Appalachian Mountains. Anybody want to go? Like, we don't have that here.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Here we have like bowling.
I know.
Which I love bowling. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. I love bowling. But it's different than like going out and doing something like that. And like, I feel like you create real long-term relationships like that versus like bowling is still so individual. Even like most of the things that we have here are very individual, I think, that are hard to really create those like long-term relationships. Yeah.
I definitely sometimes I wish I went out of state just so I could have experienced something else. But I do love A&M. I'm not going to lie. Love it. but it would be really cool to like go to school in the mountains. Do you know where Appalachian State is?
Yeah.
Beautiful. They're literally like a tiny little town by themselves in the mountains. Like, it's gorgeous. I'm like, I wish I went here.
You still can. You can go for your master's.
No, I've been in school too long. Like, I'm done.
So you're getting your you're getting your undergrad in construction science.
Yeah, in the School of Architecture.
Versus a school of engineering. Is there one in the engineering?
No, but they were trying to move us into engineering, and like everyone in the construction science department was like, no, we're okay. Like, we want to stay here.
What would have been the difference? More math stuff?
Probably more like labs. We already have a lot of labs, but they wanted to rename it something too. Like, it wouldn't be construction science anymore. I think they were going to change the name of it and move us into the engineering building. But it's kind of, I really think they were trying to move us into the engineering building because we're like a very good program at A&M. Have you ever heard of Aggie 100?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a lot of the people that are Aggie 100 recipients are like construction companies or people that do something in some type of construction. So we're a really good program. Like, it's a really good field. And our engineering program is also like amazing. So I think the new president just kind of wanted to push us together. I don't know how to explain it. We would be like a department in engineering. Like, we would be different.
Yeah.
And they were like, no.
Probably, but I feel like it worked out the way it was supposed to work out.
Oh, yeah. I love construction science. I don't want it to be anything else.
Why did you choose construction science? You don't... you just don't seem like a construction science person. I don't know. I feel like I would see you in like a public health area or something else. But construction science is just so... Why?
Random.
Yeah.
So I actually always wanted to be an OBGYN, but I'm scared of blood. Like, I faint. So I can't be a doctor.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it narrows it down real pretty quick.
Yeah. And then the next thing I wanted to do is architecture. Like, I wanted to design luxury, like, custom homes. I have always loved houses, like, loved them. So that's what I went into school for. And I was an environmental science major, which is kind of, it's like studying the study of architecture at our school. And I don't know why, I just like wasn't in love with the program. I wasn't enjoying all of my class. I wasn't enjoying the important classes, but I was still enjoying classes that have stuff to do with like building and building techniques. So my advisor at the time was like, oh, well, you should try construction science. Like, I really think you would like that better. And I loved it, like the second that they put me in it. So that's how I ended up in construction science.
And now what is your goal in the world of construction? Like, what do you want to do?
It's the same thing. Like, I want to still work with custom luxury homes.
As like a superintendent, still design, like you want, like, are you gonna learn like, I forgot what the program is called, something architect. Like, what is like, where do you want to find your space inside that company?
So when I did my internship, my boss owned a company who he would get clients who had gone to an architect, and they would pay the architect to design their dream home, and then they would come to him with these plans, and they were like, we would love if you would like build our dream house. And he was like, okay. And it's really cool because like you get to, don't get me wrong, like architecture, super cool. But I want to say like 90% of the time, like their plans are never built. They're never like actually put into the world. They're just like plans. And so like getting these plans from the architects and actually agreeing to build them, like you get to see these plans that the architect has built and you get to like actually make them come alive, which I think is more cool. And you get to work with the architect, you get to work with the clients and like change stuff in the house. You get to recommend a whole bunch of different stuff. Like what is like part of a house usually is completely different by the time that it's done. Like you can do so many cool construction like related things to a house that you would never like think of just looking at plans. So it was more interesting to me. I don't know.
So like you sound, I don't know, like you sound both like a designer, but at the same time like a superintendent.
So yeah, I don't know the job title of it, but I like my dream when I have enough experience is to own like a custom home building company. So you get to do like, you get to be a project manager and a superintendent and an estimator and an office administrator. Like, you get to do all of it. But, like, I really love, like, making the plans, like, go to real life. That's what was interesting to me.
I think it's... So I built this house.
Really?
I was a project manager for a local company here in town, and I'm not a construction science background by any means, right? So my take was, like, what I loved about it is that you get to control this job site and whatever, like, how people are treated and how they're paid, who is paid. I had all full control of what trades I use, and then ultimately at the end of the day, I get to say, oh wow, like, I want that fix and this fix, and it's not the quality that I'm looking for. Right? You get to set your set of standards, and it was very much so a very fun time. And it sounds like that's kind of like what you're, at least in the space, of looking for. But I think, so you have superintendent and you have construction managers. I think superintendents are the day-to-day, and then a construction manager oversees that super, right? So I think it sounds like more the construction manager world.
Well, what's crazy is when you work for, like, such a small company, when there's, like, only, like, 5 or 6 employees, everybody does everything.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So I got to watch everybody do, like, everything, which was really cool. Like, for example, one of the things that they would kind of, like, help you out with building your house. Like, they'd be like, do you really want this? Or, like, for example, they were building a media room, and they were like, you should get sound insulation in the walls because it's right next to your bedroom. Like, you'll hear it. So they had, like, custom sound insulation, and there's just really cool stuff in a lot of the houses when you get to, like, work with stuff like that and, like, build it slowly, and you get to meet a lot of people.
You get to meet a lot of people, and then I think the build slowly part is probably the most attractive part. If you're working like a track home, then everything's just so fast. It's so easy to lose sight of quality. But if you can have the time, and if you have the clientele that respect that time, yes, it's going to cost more, but you feel better about the product, and they feel better about the product. There's more attention to detail. Like, it's the way to go, I think.
Yeah. I don't think I would want to do cookie cutter homes, no.
What is, like, some mandatory things that you would like to have inside of your quote-unquote dream home?
My dream house? Double doors. I'm a sucker for double doors for the front door.
Okay. Yeah.
What else? I don't know. I've never really, like, thought about it. Like, after working with that company, and you just see so many different types of houses and so many different, like, things and styles, I really don't even know what kind of style, like, house I want anymore. Like, I like each of them in their own way, which kind of sucks, but, like, it's true.
I get it. Like, looking at some of those binders for just lighting packages, it was, like, just an insane number of different lighting fixtures. And I was like, this is too much. And, like, oh, Ben, this is just one book. There are multiple books. I could not choose. That's too much. I would rather, like, give someone creative rights and say, hey, these are some things that I want. Let me know how it goes.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever design my own house. I think I would just tell them what I would want. Because I would not be able to sit down and actually, like, finish my dream house. Like, I would just keep changing stuff. And then it would be a completely new house each time I touched it.
And then, like, triple the cost. You're like, you've made all these changes, you need all these change orders, it's going to cost this much.
Exactly.
Shit. Oh, wow. Yeah, can't pay for it anymore. Tell me about who is Avery in, like, growing up? What kind of kid were you?
I don't know. So I lived in Houston.
Wow.
I was born in Cyprus. That's where my dad's from.
Okay.
So I was born in Cyprus, and then we moved to Sugar Land. And then my parents ended up getting divorced when I was in first grade. And we moved to San Antonio because that's where my mom's family's from. And I feel like I've had to go through a lot of things that like other people haven't. So the reason I grew up in a really religious home. So my mom and dad are like super into the church. My dad's family's super religious. And then my mom's family's like very, her dad was really high in the Air Force. So my mom was like this picture perfect kid. And it's crazy because my mom and dad are complete opposites. They met at Baylor, and my mom was a librarian, and my dad was on the baseball team. Like
complete opposites.
right? Like I was like, Mom, like you were cool. Like you were a librarian dating a baseball player. Like you had the life. And she's like, yeah, but we were opposites in college and we knew it. But the reason they ended up getting divorced is because my dad ended up becoming an alcoholic, and he's not anymore. Like he's worked really hard, and it's been like a while, like years since he's had a drink. But my mom came to the conclusion that it wasn't something that she wanted us around, which I think was the right decision. But there's like so many things that I look at like around me now where I'm like, oh, like I don't really care for that. Like that's why I've never liked partying. I've never like done drugs. I didn't have my first sip of alcohol until I like graduated high school. And my mom made me like work for everything I had. So in like ways I was like, oh, I wish I like had things that these other kids had. But looking like back and like looking at what I have now, because I've earned it myself, I'm like, this is so much more important to me. Like I can say I bought my own car and like be proud of it. Or I can say I take care of my dog all by myself. And I don't know. So there's a lot of things I went through like growing up, like family issues and stuff like that definitely made me a better person. Like coming from a negative situation, like very grateful for it. I don't know how to explain it.
I think you did a good job. I think
Okay, good.
that seems to be maybe not a trend, but so far a trend with a lot of the people that I talk to. It's like the guy yesterday, when he was 13, he saw a guy get shot in the face. And it was like the first time I've ever seen someone get killed. And then now he's been successful now, but it's like you can take this negative opportunity or this negative circumstance and then perpetuate it and continue. Like now you become the alcoholic, or you can choose to make it better, right? Mm-hmm. And it sounds like your mom kind of saw that and then realized we're gonna make it better.
Yeah.
So kudos to your mom.
Yeah, she's definitely like the strict parent, but she's very smart with stuff, so I'll give her that. But my dad is like my best friend. I'm closer with my dad, and my sister's closer with my mom.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was it hard growing up with a strict parent? Like, did it make you upset a lot of times?
Yeah. And I don't know. Like at the same time, like that was my normal. But like looking back, I'm like, my mom was so strict. But I also think now that like I'm kind of an adult and I could have like my own kid within like the next 5 years, I'm like, I would be the same way with my kid. Like, no lie, I would be the same way. Because I know what I was doing as a kid. Like, I don't trust any kid that age, no. And the thing is, like, I wouldn't even say I was a bad kid, too. Like, I knew what my friends were doing. And I was like, I don't want my kid to be like you. Like, I loved them as a friend, but, like, oh my gosh, I would go to parties and I was like what you would say the DD in high school. Like, these, like, little 14 and 15-year-olds were, like, sitting there getting super drunk drinking or, like, doing drugs and, like, running around town, and their parents had no idea. And my mom was, like, tracking me. And I was like, I'm tracking my kid too. Like, I'm going to know what they're doing. So I get, like, why she did half the stuff she did.
My mom would track me as well and was like, take a picture of who you're with at the house. And if the parent's there, then I want the parents in the picture too. And send it to me as soon as you get there. Mm-hmm. And so I would get to their house and we'd all stand in front of the photo and then, like, take a picture in front of the mirror and then send it. And then we would do whatever we were going to do anyway. Yeah. But it was like constantly being reminded that, oh no, we're watching, we're paying attention. And it was nice to have. And I wish I would have valued it more at the time. Because at the time I absolutely hated it.
Yeah.
It's like, leave me. I'm just hanging out with my friends. But they knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was the kid that was drinking. And so they knew. But I was like, I'm smarter than them. They're not going to find out. I'll roll the windows down when I get home. It's the weirdest thing. I think being a parent, like, you really do know. My mom was always like, I know what I have. Like, don't bullshit me.
Yeah.
I know what I got. And I hate that she's right most of the time. Mm-hmm. But she's like, you came out of me. I know you better than anybody else.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have that person that you can always really go to. And, like, if you let out all your shit and you're honest, they're like, okay, well, this is maybe where you fucked up and this is how you could have been better and I still love you. Like, it's pretty powerful. You know? And I think it's the older I get, the more that I value it.
Do you think, are y'all still really close?
We were very not close for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
And probably like when I got out of high school and got my first couple years of college, I was very upset with him because all of the friends in my community or all the people in my community had all this either financial knowledge and then finances in general. And my grandfather had a very successful business where they made a lot of money. And so, like, it was like, I was like, why didn't y'all do what he did? Right? Why didn't y'all create a bank account or investment accounts or a Texas Tomorrow fund? And, like, was so mad at him for the things that they didn't do. And the more that I think about it, I was like, well, they just didn't have the time. They didn't have the money. They didn't, like, Mama was like, I saw my dad as an alcoholic who went around town, who cheated and, like, was not nice. That's not the life I wanted to live. I wanted to live something that was super neutral and go to work and come home. That's it. And so I can appreciate now the simplicity of what she wanted, but in the moment it was very frustrating because I was just angry. Like, why would you not think about this? Like, if you're going to have kids, you have to put some things into place to make sure that they're successful too. And I still think that it is important to have those things. Like, if you're going to have a kid, think for the next 18 years. Mm-hmm. Okay, what is that going to look like? Can I start a Roth IRA for my kid, and how does that look? Can I start a Texas Tomorrow fund? You know, like, make sure that by the time, quote unquote, me or the kid gets into college, they aren't, like, slammed with debt. Yeah. To the point where I was so worried about trying not to ask them for money that I was going to figure out any other way that I could, and not in always the best way. And so I think I can see where they were coming from and I can give them love, but at the same time I can get upset. Now, because I think I see them like, okay, I could get it a little bit more, I can call my mom and have a more real conversation. And I think her also being more accepting of my personality and being I have an aggressive, like, forward personality. Mom, I really don't like that. You know, like, I'm just going to tell her it is what it is. And she has been much more open to it. And today we had a conversation. It was probably one of my favorite conversations we've had in a while.
Today? Mm-hmm. Yay!
It felt good. It felt like I kind of, like, had that relationship with Mom again. Because she used to be the person that would pick me up from practice every day.
Yeah.
And our school got fined for training too much. We were doing 40 hours a week of football on top of our 40 hours a week of school, right? And so 8 to 5 school, and then before you got to school, you would be in practice, and then after practice, your first period's football, and then after school, and you're like, either your last period's football or it's like some bullshit class, you just go to football practice, and then we're there till 9:30 at night. And it was every day, Saturdays that were voluntary, but everyone knew they were. Yeah, if you're not going, you're not playing.
Yeah.
And she would be the person that would take me in the mornings and pick me up in the afternoon at night. Mm-hmm. And we'd always, like, drive on the way. So how was school? How was this? And, like, I loved it. You know, it was like some of my favorite memories, hanging out with Mom and like sitting inside the car, inside the garage, and like, I'm going through something rough, and this is what I'm going through. What do you think? I loved it. So it was nice to kind of, like, get back to that a little bit.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, step in the right direction.
Yeah. I was on the phone with my mom today, too. She just randomly called me because she was like, how's class? was like, it's still boring, Mom. Like, nothing's going on yet.
Have you always had a good, I mean, I know you said you're best
No.
friends with your dad, but
Yeah.
what was your relationship with your mom?
I want to say me and my mom are very similar in a lot of ways, but we're similar in like the negative ways. Like we butt heads all the time. So I got my stubbornness from my mom, which is a very good thing for me because I'm very stubborn about certain things. Like I won't let myself fail at a lot of stuff. I just won't. But I'm also stubborn in like the bad ways where I'm just like, no, like I know I'm right, so I'm gonna do it. And then I'm wrong. But that's what I like to do. Like I like figuring it out on my own, which I got from her. I'm also like very smart financially because of her. My mom was like she was a single mom. I was in first grade when my parents got divorced. So she's always been like super strict, like super good at budgeting, and has like explained to me, like made me work for everything that I've like had. So I'm thankful for that because like I'm going to graduate college and I'm in a budgeting class right now. And when I tell you 90% of my classmates right now are like, what's a budget? I should have a savings account. Like my credit score, what's that? And I'm like,
no way.
Yes. And they're like literally graduating this semester. And I'm like, how do y'all not know this? And so I've had this professor before. So he like knows that I work. Like he knows me on a personal level a little. Like he knows more about me than like the other students because he's also friends with my boss that I worked with on my internship. Nice. Yeah. And so there was like one thing that said everybody should, I think it's 67% of Americans have trouble like coming up with $1,000 like for an emergency. Like 67% of Americans cannot pay for an $1,000 emergency. Like that's terrifying, right? And I was sitting there and I was like, thank God, like my mom taught me how to save money because I definitely like have money for an emergency. I mean, I have a savings account for my dog. Like if something happens to my dog, like he has money to like get better.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I'm so glad my mom made me like pre-think certain things. So I got that from her too.
Would you consider that OCD?
I would say it's definitely a negative thing sometimes because sometimes I'm so scared to like take off a Saturday or something just because in my head I'm like, oh, like I'm losing $300 to $500 because I want to go hang out with my friends. But at the same time, like this is my last year in college and I feel like I shouldn't be scared to take off a shift from work to go hang out with my friends, you know? So I butt heads with that a lot.
So maybe not maybe not OCD, but a conflicting thing. I don't know if I'd consider it negative because I think that having balance is important. I mean, would you say you have pretty good balance within? No?
No.
Okay. Well, then there you go.
Like work has always been above my personal life. And it has definitely like affected relationships I've been into. Like the last one I was in, like his parents help him a little. Like they pay his rent and stuff. So we would like kind of clash heads with like understanding why money was like way more important to me or like why I needed to work a shift. But after we like broke up, I was like, okay, like I kind of understand like why he wanted me to take a Sunday off. Like it's important for you to just like enjoy life sometimes rather than stressing about work. And I wouldn't even say I was like stressed about work because I've always had like a savings account. But in my head, it's like I can have more and more. Like I'll feel safer the more I have. But sometimes that's like not the most important thing. So
sometimes your mental health or your relationships, your social circle is more important. Sometimes, not always, right? It depends on like what you guys are going to go out and do and all those things. Like I think you don't really like get plastered or anything like that, but if you were to compare like going out and getting plastered versus staying in at work, it seems like staying in at work is probably the better of the two scenarios.
Yeah, but I feel like I have like almost no memories for a college student. Like I've worked 3 jobs for the past 4 years at the same time. Like I've missed out on so much. And what can I say? Like I have a nice car, like I have a nice house for a college kid, like I have a savings account. but like
adult shit, things that people like.
things that matter, but at
Yeah.
the same time, like I'm also on my last semester, so this semester I've kind of realized like, oh, like I wish I did do that with my friends. Like money isn't everything. Like I'd rather have good relationships with people, because when I do have a day off, sometimes I feel like I don't have anyone to ask to do stuff, if that makes sense. Like I've missed out on so many potential relationships.
I think that I'm the opposite.
Really?
While I was in college, I was definitely more of the never go to class, spend all my money, and have a good time. My grandma gave me a pretty big lump sum when I first got to college. And I definitely lived my life. And a lot of those relationships ended up being revolved around the party life. And so whenever you get back into regular life, they're not really around as much, or they're harder and less often that you communicate. And even if you are communicating, it's usually back around those things.
Yeah.
Now the friends and people that I meet and friends that I have, it's like at the gym or through work. And those relationships are so much more valuable. Like the lady I met with today, Casey, who came on my podcast 2 days ago, runs a marketing team. She has her own marketing. She's a marketing consulting company, and she's like hiring her next person, has an intern. She's 27, is a professor at Colorado State University, like successful, right? And even if you think about just successes on a sheet of paper and that's what success may be, she's making progress towards a better life for herself, her family, and her. She's not married. She's not married, but she has a relationship. But for her either quote unquote family or future family, she's doing all that work now. So by the time she's gotten to that point where she can go out and have a good time and have drinks, and the work's already been done. Like, you don't got to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like you've set the foundation for yourself. Like you don't have to worry about getting a job somewhere. Like you are skilled. You understand those things. Like you can present yourself well. I think a lot of those things are self-confidence building things that you're like, I bought my own car. I pay for my own school. I don't have debt. Like those are huge things that most people cannot come out of school saying.
Yeah.
I think that even though it might feel like you missed out, I don't think entirely the things that you missed out on are like that big of a deal. I mean, you're still so young. I mean, I don't think we're that different in age. I don't think like I'm older than you. But if you decided that you want to go back to college today, start all over again and be a nutrition major, you have the time to do. Let's even say you wanted to be a construction science, right? You're going to graduate. You spend the next 15 years in that field and then decide, you know what? I think I want to do something else. I want to go be a nutritionist. 6 years later, 8 years later, 6 years later, you're through your RD and you can practice for another 30 years. Like you got time to still make friends, have relationships, and live life.
I know, but at the same time, I feel like you're only young for so long. And that's kind of hit me in the face because I work at like a restaurant that depends on like me being a young girl. So in a lot of ways, like I make amazing money for a college student, but it's like, well, I can only make this money for so long. And then I'm kind of just like thrown out into the real world, like once I graduate. So that terrifies me too.
I think you'll probably make more money.
I won't.
Are you clearing six figures?
Almost, yeah.
Okay.
And then starting salary for construction science is like $67,000 starting out of college.
Average, sure.
Yeah. But I make more now than I will when I graduate, which scares me.
I can see how that's scary, but I think you might not be taking into consideration bonuses.
That's true. And like benefits.
Do you not get benefits?
I get discounted food.
Twin Peaks.
Our food is really good.
Good food. Come on, Twin Peaks. I mean, I think like a lot of my, not a lot, a significant portion of the income that I was making was bonuses. Like, yeah, you're given a certain salary, but you bonus on every project, and depending on the price of the project, you're bonusing that much more.
That's true. I guess I never thought about it like that.
That's usually why they're so low.
Oh, that makes sense.
I think you'll be okay. You'll come out making more than you think. It's going to take time though, right? So you come into a project, you're not closing on a project immediately, right?
Yeah.
And not every company does that. But there was one guy who's building for like American Custom Homes or something, and he would travel the nation building homes, high custom end homes, and he was getting paid like $50,000-$60,000 a year, but would bonus about about $400,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So, but his bonus was paid at the end of the year. He bonused $400,000, and then throughout the years, getting paid $500-$600.
Yeah,
or $600,000, or $50,000 to $60,000 a year.
Dang. I know that's why I do love the construction field. There's so many like ways to build like up in it, or like so many different positions you can do. So I'm excited about that, but I'm also just so nervous because I've done the same thing for 5 years. Like I've been a student and a server. Like I'm so used to it.
I think that all skills are transferable. So like you have skills, the communication, the thinking on your feet, problem solving, even though the vehicle looks, it's a glass or it's a customer, specifically like a bar individual somebody sitting at the bar who's like calling you drinks or whatever it may be, or a drunk college student vomiting on the thing. Like it's a problem that needs to be solved, and you have to be quick with it.
Yeah,
it's the same thing here. It's the same thing in construction now. Instead of it being inside of a bar, now you're inside of a house, right? Now you have to look at the frame, figure out the issues, and then a lot of times your subs, they know what they're doing, especially at that high end of a place. Like, you know a lot of nuances, but they've been practicing for how long? You know, like
years. Yeah.
They know their stuff. Like, I think I love to do what I did was give all my trust to these people that, especially because I don't have the background, that know more than me. And my cleaner, my painter, my whatever, they know more than I do. They're gonna have a different eye than I do. What do y'all need? You know, like, how can I help y'all?
Yeah.
Make it easy for them, and they'll make it easy for you. I think you already know that. Like, you already do those things. It's just going to be maybe different if you're moving to a new place and learning that and, like, having fun on the beach and, like, that's fun. That's different. But, like, you've already set a foundation of understanding, like, how money works and then how people work. So you can build relationships in any direction you want, whether it be in work or in, like, quote unquote play. Like, if you go out, I love dance classes. If you go to dance classes, like, you meet people. Like, it's just the same thing.
Yeah, I definitely have learned good communication skills from like working in the service industry. So I'm thankful for that. But I also think I'm very confident, like, say behind the bar, because I know exactly what I'm doing. And like, I know the restaurant, I know the food, I know the drinks. I can recommend good stuff. And then, like, say on my internship, I kind of felt powerless because there's so much that I realized that I, like, don't know. And I feel like I can't feel confident in what I'm doing until I really know what I'm doing. So that's what I'm scared for when I graduate, is just, like, making sure that I'm getting enough experience and, like, actually learning enough from the experience that I'm going to be getting.
I think getting the right job with the right group.
Yeah.
Right? That's ultimately what it is. If they allow you to have space to learn and, like, are big on education and patient with you, then I think the opportunity is there. But how did you feel when you first started bartending, the first played behind the bar?
I was terrified. I actually did not want to be a bartender. Yeah. I was like, no, I don't want to do it. Like, that's scary. And then you do it, and it's, like, the easiest thing in the world. But what's crazy is people that aren't bartenders, like, will still, like, say to me, they're like, that looks so hard. Like, how do you remember all these drinks? And I'm like, it's the easiest thing in the world. But that's what anybody would say when they have experience over something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just going to take time.
Yeah.
I'm confident for you. I think you're going to do great. Yeah.
I'm excited. It's like 5 months away.
That's so short of a time.
I know. Trust me, I've like stressed crying about it too. I'm excited and stressed and scared.
Are you certain you're going to be moving over to Florida?
Yeah. I think so. I know for a fact, like, I only want to go for a year because while I'm still young, I want to push myself to do something that, like, is completely out of my comfort zone because I've always, like, I'm afraid of change. That's just, like, how I am as a person. So that's why I'm making myself go somewhere. But I'm also terrified that, like, I might be really sad there because I don't know anybody or like, I don't know where I'm going or, like, people are going to be different. Like, that terrifies me. But at the same time, like, I want to be able to say I've lived somewhere else other than Texas. Like, I just don't want to run home where my family is, if that makes sense. I want to go, like, do something for me after I graduate. And moving somewhere different was what I wanted to do, so.
I feel like it's something that I hear a lot, especially coming out of this town.
Yeah.
And I want to understand a little bit more that idea of like wanting to do things while I'm still young. I understand like doing things for me is important, right? But doing, and maybe because I'm still here, right? I never thought I was going to stay here. I wanted to move too. And I'm also not, I'm adverse to change as well to a certain degree. I mean, I've changed entire careers now 3 times. So not necessarily adverse, but kind of. What is let's say you move for 1 year and you love it.
That's what a lot of people have said to me. They're like, you're going to stay.
Then it's not 1 year. You're like,
but then I'll stay.
Do you not love it here?
I think I've been here too long. Like, I've outgrown College Station. So that's why I want to go somewhere else. And I love the people here. Like, I love the small town feel. I've always liked that. But at the same time, I feel like this is such a small town that, like, everybody, like, thinks that they know everything about you, or like, I'll go somewhere and they're like, oh, like, you bartend. Like, everybody just knows everybody in this town. And, like, love the people that I'm friends with, but I'm also ready to just meet new people because I've just been here for so long. And it's one of those towns that you just see everybody pass through. Like, the majority of people pass through, and all of my friends, like, I'm seeing them like going and working already because they graduated like 2 years ago on time. And I'm like, oh, I want to go do that, but I'm still here. Like, I don't know.
Man, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I wish that I could relate a little bit more and that, like, have that same feeling. My automatic thing is like, well, what if you're just in the same circles? If you're in the same circles and you do the same thing when you get to Florida, then you're going to see the same people and it's going to become another small town after a certain amount of time.
That's true.
But if I, like, at one point, like, I only lived on that side of town, right? I lived near the university and around that area.
Uh-huh.
And then I moved over to this side of Bryan, and then I moved over off 1179. And it was like an entirely different set of people. Like,
different town. Like, you feel like you're somewhere else.
Entirely.
Yeah.
And, like, the CEO of this company, this guy who sold, the guy who's like triangular location. So how people find, like, how, like, your like locations located off of 3 different satellite systems. Mm-hmm. The guy lives here. He sold it to Verizon, and now it's like this huge company, right? Or the huge idea, and he just lives down the street. And I think that's like, there's a lot of really, really cool people that live here.
Oh, yeah.
That if you're not, like, in that space, then it's so easy to get caught in what looks like such a dull college town.
Yeah, I feel like I'm still stuck in the dull college town because I'm still in college. But I feel like when you work in the service industry, like I've seen so many different like sides of this town because so many different sides of people like from different areas of the town will come sit like at my bar. So I get to like meet all of them.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just like I go to the same places every single day and I'm a very routine person. And I recently was like, I'm very bored of my routine. And I think it's just because I'm just ready to like go experience something else. So
Why that side? Why Florida and not California?
So California is really expensive.
Fair.
I did want to move to Arizona because I have some family that lives there. I just decided it was actually Tennessee, Florida, or Arizona. And I always wanted to live in Tennessee. I wanted to move back up to the mountains. I don't like the cold weather at all, so I decided against it.
Fair.
I'm also not a really big city person, and a lot of the places I love in Tennessee are very, very small towns where I knew I would have trouble like finding a job or something. So I voted that one out. And then I've gone to Florida a few times for like vacation and stuff with my friends, and I've just always had good memories there. And like the presence of the area I really liked. So I was like, I think I'm going to go to Florida just because like I don't know anybody there. Like I just want to do that. So I decided on Tampa because it's like a cheaper big city there. So that's just what I decided.
I hope that it works out. Like, I hope that it's everything. I hope that it's not just 1 year.
I mean, but if it doesn't work out, it's only 1 year.
Do you think it's like a safety within your own brain, like an easy out? If I give myself a year, then I don't have to stay.
I think it's a checklist, kind of. Like, well, you are here for a year, so make the most of it. And if I do like it, like, of course, I'll end up staying. But all of my family is in Texas. Like, I have one step sibling that lives in Arizona, and that's it. Everybody else is in Texas. And I feel like as you get older, like, of course, family is more important to you. And I love my family, so I do want to eventually be closer to them. So I will move back to Texas 100%. But I don't know.
It's not yet.
Yeah, I think I want to go have my own little vacation for a year in Florida.
I mean, that'd be the life.
I know. I'm
Go by the
excited.
beach, hang out, bartend.
Exactly.
I don't think you can ask for a more relaxed time. I've heard Florida's pretty wild. So you have some like pretty fun stories at the bar.
I'm excited about it.
I want to hear about your fitness journey as well.
I don't really have one.
No?
I mean, I ran track in high school and middle school.
Okay. What'd you run?
I ran hurdles, so like 300 and 100 meter hurdles, and then I did long jump and high jump.
It's a hard run.
Oh my gosh, the 300 meter hurdles, like after I would run it, I would taste like copper in my throat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've just like always liked fitness, but I'm not going to lie, I've definitely like bounced in and out of it. Like during COVID, I got back into it because there wasn't really anything to do except like work and work out because everybody in this town was gone. There was like one person I hung out with that stayed. All of my friends like went back home to like live with their parents again. And then it just really depends. Like when I let myself get too comfortable, I'll go like a whole month without working out and then I'll just jump back into it and it's like 5 days a week. So right now I probably run like 2 to 4 miles a day, except Saturdays. That Saturday is like my work day. So I just let myself chill that day because I usually work a double, so I can't work out.
Rough.
Yeah.
Why running?
I think it's because I don't think I'm educated enough about certain weights or techniques or something. And I think the gyms are so busy in this town now that it's hard to kind of go to the gym and just like play around and like figure stuff out. Like that kind of scares me. So I do go to Orange Theory like twice a week.
Nice.
So they'll like help me with circuits and stuff. But if I'm going to the gym like by myself, I'm really just going to stick to like cardio and abs and running because I know how to do that. Like I learned that in track. But the weightlifting and stuff, I want to get into it, but I'm also like scared to get into it because I don't know what I'm doing.
It's complex. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I'll give you a free session.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
Don't laugh at me.
I won't.
I'm so weak.
I did it for like a living.
That's true.
You know, like I saw all different kinds of people from all different ages, like 6-year-olds all the way to 78, 79, I think my oldest client.
Yeah.
So I've seen lots of different people.
Okay, good.
We'll talk about it after.
Okay.
I don't know, I see you as like somebody who was in the gym in like high school, like getting after it.
I mean, I did weight room like 3 days a week, but I just never took that seriously. Like if I was to do it now, I would take it way more serious. Like in the weight room, it was me and my teammates just goofing off. Like we had to do something to leave. So we would just rush through it or like fake doing it to leave and then like go to class or get out of practice early. Like it wasn't something I really took seriously.
So what did you focus on during?
Just running. Like we would have hurdle practice. So I would really pay attention in hurdle practice. But when we were like in the weight room, I was like, I don't need this. Now that I'm older, I know like it's important to build muscle to be a good athlete and run. Yeah. But at the time I was like, this is stupid. Like I want to run. Like I don't want to get muscle. I don't know.
I think that's most women.
Yeah.
Like, I want to look all big and bulky and then look unattractive. It's like, no, actually, that's not the way physiology works.
Yeah.
You only have so much testosterone. You have more estrogen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to try something.
What? Oh, my soda?
I want to try your soda.
It's so good.
Yeah. So I want to try Diet Dr. Brown's, the original cream soda, favorite for generations. Pew pew.
Wait, do you like cream soda?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I don't want to spill it. The fizz. Cheers.
Yeah. Okay.
But it tastes just like cream soda, and it's 0 calories. It's gotten a little warm, but it's amazing.
It's a little warm, but it's...
That is good.
That's really good.
Right?
I always wonder about how much... What are these things called? Aspartame affects you.
What's that?
It's the sweetener.
Oh.
That's what makes it all sweet. So some people like really don't like the aftertaste of aspartame that sits on your tongue.
Yeah, I can kind of taste it a little bit.
I don't taste it very much with this one.
Really?
To be honest with you, I feel like with I guess Diet Coke, I feel like it's like in your face, and then Coke Zero is even worse. I forget what they use in Coke Zero, but not a big fan. I'd rather just have regular Coke, to be honest, but I don't really like to have Coke very often. This is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not a big soda person, but I like that. And Big Red and Root Beer are my favorite sodas if I drink soda.
Big Red and Root Beer. I feel like both of those remind me of like being a kid.
Yeah, I still like them.
Do you feel like you're still a kid? Like, do you want to do you hold on to that energy?
Yeah, but I think it's because I've always given myself until I graduate and then I'll consider myself an adult. Because I definitely still have like kid perks. Like my dad still pays for my phone. I'm still on my mom's health insurance. Love that. I only have like, what is it, 25?
26.
Oh, then I have an extra year more than I thought.
Boom.
Yeah, what else? I don't know. I'm definitely also the kid of the family. Like, I'm the youngest one out of my 4 step-siblings and my sister. I'm the baby. So I definitely get treated like I'm the baby sometimes.
It must be nice.
Yeah, I love it. I don't want to say I'm spoiled or anything, but they act more interested in my life than like they do in my sisters because they're all like married with kids and they're like, how's college? Like, what are you up to? What are you doing? Like, I feel like they're kind of living through me when they ask me questions.
I feel like it's like I have my youngest sister is the last one in the house and she's still in college, and it's like my sister will call my mom her best friend. What's up, best friend? What's up, girl? And it's like this weird relationship that I'm like, if we were kids, like if like that would have never been us. Like even my older sister, or not my older sister, but the older sister, still younger, but she's number 3. And so there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm number 2, the older brother, one younger sister, Anna, and then Christina. And Christina, they're just like, let her do whatever she wants. And like give her all the benefits. She's in the house, no rent. It's just and like the communication is different.
Yeah.
Very different between parents and her versus us.
Yeah. I wouldn't say my communication. No, I'm definitely like daddy's little girl. Like, definitely my dad's favorite. But my sister's my mom's favorite, so it's equal, you know?
There you go. It balances out.
Yeah.
So you say 4 step siblings and your sister. What is the order? Where is your sister in that order?
So it's me, last one in college, and then it's my stepsister Annie, and she's like, I think a year and a half, 2 years older than me. So it's not like a huge difference, but she was also not planned. So like her siblings are like way older. So it's going to be her. And then my sister is about to turn 27, like in May. And then she should be like, she's dating the person she's going to marry already. So, and then my stepsister Annie's married already. She's the one above me. So it's me, Annie, my sister, and then there's Nate, who's married, and they're like trying for a kid. And he is like 28, 27.
Okay.
And then Rebecca, and then Zach. And Zach's our oldest, and they're trying for baby number 2. Like all of my step-siblings are like married with kids almost, all of them. He's like 34 or 35, I'm pretty sure. So I'm like the baby. Like there's a pretty big age difference in all of us. Like it goes from like 24, like almost 10 years between all of us.
Not the most that I've ever seen.
Yeah, not the most, but...
I had a client she was 21 and her brother was like 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's cute.
Dad was like 55. Like when they're like, oops.
Yeah.
Oh, well, here we go. You know? I can't imagine being that old and being a father. And you're going to be like 70 when that kid finally like graduates college.
Yeah.
Do you want to have kids?
Yeah, I want to.
Why 2?
I don't know. I think it's just because I got raised with 2. And so the 4 step siblings are all my stepdads. Like they had like a big 4-kid family home. And then when they joined the family, I feel like it just got so hectic. Like everything just gets more hectic the more kids that there are.
Usually, yeah.
So 2 kids to me is like they have a friend for each other. And that's all they need. Like that's okay.
I like it.
Yeah. Did you like growing up with 3 other siblings? Like, were y'all close?
We were close, and there was like big separation times for all of them. So like, I really don't talk to my siblings pretty much at all now. Every once in a while, I'll talk to my youngest sister, but pretty much not at all. So my older brother and I had a really good relationship. Like he's the person that I felt like I could talk to the most. But then once I got into college, we had an event that really like set us on different ways. And since then I continued to try to reach out and try to build that relationship. But he was like, I don't really know who you are anymore. I'm good. I don't want to talk to you anymore. And I was like, oh Lord, like that one really hurt. So don't really talk to him at all. He's autistic, so he's a little bit weird, but it's still an asshole at times. There's no need to be an asshole and give, like, I think you can be autistic and be a regular person, but he's like just so like an asshole. Like, why you gotta be so mean, dude? So that's him. And then the younger sister, never really had much of a relationship with her outside of like me being like a kid and like us playing like house or whatever, when we were kiddos. And then the last one it's always been kind of touch and go. When I was in undergrad, pretty much no conversation. And then as I got older, started to have more conversations with her. So I'll see her. She'll be in Katy this weekend for a band thing. She's in band. So she'll be presenting out there. But my mom doesn't want me to go, so I'm going to wait.
She doesn't want you to? Why?
My dad's mom is passing away.
Oh.
So she got into hospice, and my mom was like, it's probably good that you just go ahead and stay in College Station. I'll hang out with your dad, and then we'll hang out with your sister. Like, it'll be a small gathering for us, like a little more intimate. So I was like, all right, that's cool. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't really know her. Don't really know that grandma. So I don't know. I feel like I should care more, and I don't, and I feel bad for it. But I really don't know who she is.
Yeah, I get that.
Is that how you are with your?
No, but like with my stepdad's side of the family, his dad passed away, and it was like really heartbreaking to everyone else. But like I feel like I didn't get to know him enough for like I still cared. He was really sweet, but I only met him so many times. So I just can relate to it, I guess. Like, I didn't know him enough for me to just be absolutely heartbroken, but I was still sad because I knew he was a good person.
I think the worst I've ever felt about somebody's death was our dog when I was a kid, which is probably not the nicest thing. I feel like I should probably have, like, other people in my life that have been like, oh, man. But not even that. Like, I just remember that dog, Xena was her name.
Yeah.
That was probably like, I was like, why, God? Like, why could you take this animal from us? Like, the most beautiful dog and just caring. And that did more hurt to me than anybody really ever has. Mm. It's kind of weird.
No, I think my dog's my soul dog, the one I have now. So maybe she was your soul dog.
Maybe. This guy's a little hectic at times. He's just a lot of energy.
Oh, the dog you have now?
Boomer.
I like him.
He's a good boy. Lovely.
Just crazy.
Good dog. Just crazy. Just so much energy. And I think it would be helpful because I go out and I do so many things. I'm always working. I'm always out doing things. I'm always meeting with people. Doing something that whenever I get home, it's like that same energy. And by the time I get home, I'm like, I just want a moment.
No, I know exactly what you mean. My dog's the same way.
Really? Even as a Great Dane?
Oh, yeah. He, like, don't get me wrong, he sleeps, like, 16 hours out of the day. But I'm, like, working so much or going to school so much that when I do get home, he wants me to play with him for, like, 30 minutes. And he still runs around like a puppy. Like, he can... And he's big, so he hurts me when he jumps on me.
That's a big puppy.
Yeah.
That's a scary big puppy. Like 100 pounds?
He's 145.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Him. And he takes up half the bed. I let him sleep with me. And I feel like he's so old, I can't like tell him he can't sleep with me anymore. That would just be rude.
That would be a little bit rude. Like
exactly.
He's already grown up with it and be like, Mom, what are you like what?
Yeah. Love him.
I like letting Boomer sleep in the bed as well, and I feel like I read things you say like you're not supposed to, but I don't know, like he's not gonna last very long. He's not, like he's only here for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
And I'm all he's got. It's just me and him. So. Yeah,
that's how I am with my dog. Like if I had a boyfriend or a husband or something, I wouldn't let a huge Great Dane sleep with us. But...
Sorry, but you're off to the side now. Someone's replaced you. Yeah.
Oh, my dog, like my sister has spent the night, and he loves to be in the middle. Like he will squeeze his way in between. Like, he's crazy.
That's pretty fucking cute.
Yeah, he's the best, but he's annoying. Like I'll wake up to him like clawing my back because he's like stretching in his sleep, and I'm like, Tyson, move over.
I want a picture of Tyson.
I have one I can show you. Let's see.
I like Great Danes. They seem like little sweetie pies. They're just big old Little sweetie pies.
He is so sassy though. Like, Great Danes are really loyal to their owners, so there's some people he just does not like. He's so cute.
Oh, wow. That is a cutie.
Yeah, he's the best. I'm telling you though, he sleeps all the time. I wish I had pictures of him like sleeping.
He's so big.
But he was actually the runt of the litter. Isn't that crazy?
You know, they always say the dogs that you choose. How did you find him?
So, I think it was like puppy.com or Find Puppy, or I always knew when I went to college I wanted like a Great Dane. It was always my dream dog growing up because my mom wasn't a dog person and I was. So I like found this litter in Dallas and I actually wanted his brother. And his brother was huge, had beautiful blue eyes. And I was like, well, I want him. And the lady was like, well, you can't like claim the puppies. Cause I wasn't like, I told her I wanted a puppy from the litter, but I couldn't pick it up for another 2 months, like until I moved into my first like college apartment by myself. And so I ended up driving down and someone had bought the dog that I wanted like the day before.
Damn.
So Tyson was the last boy in the litter and I wanted a boy dog. And I was like, okay, like he'll do. And he's like my best friend. I love him.
I think usually like you choose the dog that's like you.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, he's blonde, white chest, like you got white skin, you got blonde hair. I was like, it looks a lot like you, but it ended up being just by happenstance.
No. Well, his brother had blue eyes and he has brown eyes. Like he was the only dog in the litter with brown eyes. So
Does that make you sad?
yeah, kind of. But he's perfect the way he is. He also has like a little birthmark on his nose. So he has like a black circle on his nose. It's like pink and then black. It's weird.
I feel like that's pretty okay. I mean, that's nice.
Yeah, but it's unique. So
It is
he's
unique.
okay.
He didn't have blue eyes, but he has a fun nose.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Well, I don't know what time we're at.
This is fun.
Right? Isn't it? It's
Yeah.
the best. We're at 9:03. What time did we start?
I don't even know. Maybe like 7:30?
Probably something around there, right? Because
Got
I
lost.
sent you the wrong place on.
You didn't. Your neighborhood just doesn't exist yet.
It doesn't, and it kind of makes me a little frustrated because getting mail is hard, which shouldn't be that
Really?
hard. Because they dropped it off next door.
Oh, well, that's weird. I just couldn't find, like, it just doesn't recognize your street yet. But, like, if it was bright outside, I could have found your house.
Yeah, it says 20. Like it says the address on the thing. Like my numbers are on the thing. So the
Yeah.
fact that they didn't get it makes me a little sad. I am really excited. Before today, I used to do that, and it would make this guy like ring super loud. You could hear these guys very loudly inside your earphones, but now it doesn't do anything.
Oh, sweet.
I bought a bunch of stuff for this podcast, or not for this podcast, for the podcast, but it ended up getting here today. I was very thankful.
Oh.
But these little things, and then the cameras, and then these new cords, that new thing, the actual stand. Hold on. We are
Do I take these off?
not yet.
Okay.
We're 3 minutes out
Of what?
of 2 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know we'd been talking that long.
Isn't it the coolest?
Yeah, kind of.
You're really easy to talk to.
Thanks. But it's also my job, so.
And I think also the video. I still think that like, content creation also helps, like, your communication and like the way you phrase things and like all of that. I think makes it better. I don't know if you think it does, but like it makes like you're choosing your words. Like like I don't know, maybe you're not, but I was like, you said that really well.
Thanks.
Yeah, there was a lot of times where I was like, wow, she said that really nicely.
No, I feel like that has more to do just because, like, I talk to people every single day. And sometimes being behind the bar can feel like a little stage. Like you have to be careful with what you say. Or you have to be, being a bartender, you have to adapt and change your personality to the people that you're talking to so that they can have like the best experience. Like that's what you're supposed to do. So I feel like I've just learned to talk in different ways than maybe someone that hasn't worked in the service industry talks. I don't know.
I think getting the opportunity to talk to lots of people,
That's true.
doing this for long periods of time, helps. I think also, like I'm saying, like, I don't know, both things are really cool. I like podcasting because it gives you the opportunity to, even if this thing never grows, which we're growing, so it's kind of cool, but even if it stopped, then I still have the opportunity to meet people of all different walks of life and have a conversation with them and learn what it feels like and looks like to have a good constructive conversation, even if it's like weird in the mix, but you get to read people and get to understand them. And then I think also like they get to understand you a little bit like that. So it's very like eye-opening for both parties, but I like it a lot.
Have you ever taken a philosophy class?
No, I've never taken a philosophy class, but I've studied some philosophy.
Really? I took a philosophy class because it was just like a class we had to take.
Yeah.
It was like one of my favorite classes.
Tell me about it. Why?
Oh my gosh, I can't even, like, we had textbooks and you would just read them and they would tell you certain things that people would do. And I can't, like, remember them off the top of my head because it was, like, 3 years ago.
What is the meaning of life, Avery?
Oh, sometimes I'm like, I'm bored with life, so I couldn't tell you. And then other times I'm like, life is so fun right now. It just depends on my mood.
So then what does life mean to you right now?
I don't know. I'm one of those people that's very goal oriented. So in order for me to like have a good, happy week, there's like little things that I like to check off. Like the thing, and they're not even big things half the time. Like this week I had 3 goals and it's to clean out my car, like detail my car. I want to try Indian food for the first time. So that's on my list.
Nice.
I've had like curry and butter chicken, but I really want to like try some different stuff.
Okay.
And then the other thing was to vacuum my room, which I haven't gotten to yet, but it's on my list.
It's on the list.
Yeah, so I just like, I guess I live for things that I just like make a little list of things to do each week.
Are you a list maker? Like, do you like to scratch off? Like, does that give you value or like?
Yeah, look, I have a digital one on my phone, so it's like right here. And then it says clean retainer. I did that today. So I clicked it off.
And does it like, can you like physically scratch it? Like
You
rub
like
back and
double
forth?
tap it and it'll just write a line through it for you.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do a list, I like to like.
See, that's how my planner is. Like if you saw my planner, it's like crazy. Everything for any day of the week is like written down in my planner. That one's just on my phone, like so I can look at something on my phone. But if I lay out my planner, like it's crazy detailed.
Very type A.
Yeah, love my planner. But my sister's the same way, which is crazy because we didn't learn that about each other until she was like, your planner's so cute. And I was like, thank you. She's like, look at my planner. I was like, oh my God. And that was only like a year ago. And now we'll sit and send pictures of our planners to each other like each week.
That is
because we just think it's fun.
Weirdest and funniest thing.
Yeah, I'm very organized about things. So.
Down to what extent? Like, do you know day by day exactly what you're doing? Like, pretty much like hour by hour time blocks?
Hour by hour. Like, in my head, mentally, I'll plan it out for, like, the whole week. But that's how I know I'm, like, getting the things done that I want to get done. So, but that's also me being stubborn, so.
I think that it's kind of the right thing to do. Like, you create your own schedule.
Yeah.
It ends up usually benefiting. Like, if you know you're going to work out today, like, you've already scheduled time for that. Mm-hmm. Do you schedule the time you're going to work out?
So, yeah, I usually go, like, after each class ends for the day. But with Orange Theory, you, like, have to pick a class time, which I really like because then I have to be there at a certain time. Like, I don't have any time to slack off. But if I'm just going to the gym to run, I kind of just figure out, like, where I have, like, a 3-hour gap. so I can go run, leave the gym, go take a shower, like change into clothes, then I'm good.
Before we leave,
Yeah.
we're going to end here soon. I like to think that we all have little nuggets of knowledge
Okay.
that we can take from each other.
Oh, no.
Whatever you'd like to leave us with as some sort of thing that you've learned or you're excited to continue to learn about as life continues on, and whatever you're gonna end us off. We're gonna say bye here in a little bit, but you have the last word here.
I think the most important thing that I have like learned since I've been in college, I think it's definitely more important to value relationships than money. And don't get me wrong, financial security is like amazing. It's a great feeling. But like life is literally about the people you meet and the things that you get to do. So stressing about like how successful you might be one day or how much money you're making, I don't think it's worth like as much as genuine people in your life.
Thank you. Love you. See you next time.